Hello, my yarny friends. I'm Sara Sach. Welcome back to another edition of This or That, and sometimes the other thing. And today we're going to do other thing. I'm so glad you're here today. I'm not going to be discussing a technique or a demo or anything like that today. Today we're going to be discussing the holidays are upon us. We're going to be going to parties and get-togethers and luncheons and lots of fun things, seeing friends we haven't seen in a while. And the question is this: do you take your crochet with you? And when you do take your crochet with you, do you get a lot of weird questions? I'm the kind of person that I come across as being very outgoing, and I am once you know me. I'm very outgoing. But if I don't know you, I'm more of an observer. I'll sit back or stand back and kind of wait and kind of see the crowd, get to know the crowd, scope out the crowd, and everything. And if it's a little too much, that I don't want to be a part of, maybe there's a whole bunch of gossipy stuff going on because I don't like that, or unkind stuff or things like that, I'll still steer clear of that section. Also, if there's a lot of political talking or unkind things, I don't like that either, because I think that your family's your family and you need to love them no matter what. Even if you don't agree on politics or life or anything in general, I don't think you should just part with your family. You got to love your family. And sometimes family's hard to love. And a lot of times we get together at these functions, and maybe your brother married some woman and you can't stand her, or your sister married some guy that already had kids and the kids are awful, and you think, well, I just cannot do this. So bring your crochet with you. It's amazing how it can calm everybody down, and they'll see you over there crocheting. You look up, you smile at someone, and it really can be a neat thing. And I've learned through my million years of crocheting, that was an exaggeration, but just a little bit, that if you just take it with you, even if you don't do a stitch or two, but you've got it out, and people will come over and start talking to you about your crochet. They really will. The first thing they'll say, though, is, "What are you knitting?" And if people come over and say to me, "What are you knitting, Sara?" I usually say, "Well, I'm crocheting," and in a really nice way. I don't get rude about it, because in other countries, they put crochet and all kinds of yarn fibers under the heading of knitting. It's all, anything you do with yarn fibers is considered knitting, like tatting and weaving and lots of different processes. They put it under knitting. And so I don't mind if they call it knitting, but I always say I'm crocheting, and then I'll tell them what I'm making. I usually take a project that is more like a blanket that is smaller, like a baby blanket, or a table runner or something like that, that has a lot of stitches that you're just going to continue to repeat. And I'll show them a little bit of what I'm doing. And it's okay to educate them, but educate them in a very nice way. Okay, it drives me crazy when people get mad just because someone calls crocheting knitting. It doesn't really matter. Just say, "Oh, I'm crocheting and this is what I'm doing." It's just having kind of a little bit different perspective on that, because you have to understand, if they don't crochet or they don't knit, they don't have a clue which one is which, ever. And it's okay. We can educate them in a really nice way. One of the things I get said to me all the time, "Well, isn't crocheting just for old grannies?" Well, I am an old granny. I'm 62 years old. But the truth is, it's not. I tell them, "Oh, just go to Target and look around. You'll see tons of things that are crocheted that are in fashion right now." Crochet has taken quite the fashion world by storm. And some of the things they're doing, I really don't think they should. They're different, but that's okay. They're still crocheting, right? And we're keeping our craft alive. And just because I may not like a particular thing they crocheted, it's okay. We can't all like the same thing. The world would be pretty boring if we all only crocheted granny squares, right? Although there are a gazillion kinds of granny squares, and I love granny squares. All right, so when someone says to me, "Isn't crochet just for old people or old grannies?" I always say, I learned when I was like 13 from a library book, you know. So, and the truth of the matter is, you have to be pretty smart to crochet. Because think about all those stitches and all those counts, and people are talking to you and you're trying not to lose count. I always tell them, oh no, crochet is for smart people. Here's one I get all the time. We'll have people over to our house, and because we love to barbecue and have people over and just get to know people from church and stuff. And we'll have, you know, a couple families over, and my husband's like, why don't you show them the yarn room? I'm always kind of embarrassed because I feel like I have a lot of yarn, which I do, and you can see it's not perfectly straight. I got a few strings hanging, and I got teddy bears hanging out. But I'll take them in here, and they're just like, do you really need all that yarn? Yes, I do. And I don't show them the tubs of it out in the garage, in the attic there where all my tubs of it are. And I don't show them this closet over here, which now I took the doors off, so they will see them. But anyway, yes, I do need all this yarn. I do. They just don't understand unless they're a crocheter or a knitter. They don't understand how much we love our yarn, and we do love our yarn. Another thing I get all the time is when I'm in a group of people and I'm crocheting something, they'll say, oh, you knit? I'll say, no, again, I crochet. Oh, have you seen that new Taylor Swift dress? Or have you seen those sweaters at Target? Can you make me one of those? And for like, I'm having a birthday party in a couple of weeks. And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh. I tell them, well, first of all, they're very expensive to make because it takes a lot of yarn, and yarn is not cheap. And number two, I can't do it in like 2 weeks. I just can't. I probably could if I rushed it, but I have a life, people. I have patterns that I make for Yarn Company. I have patterns I make for my blog. I have patterns I make for me and items I make for my bears. No, I cannot make that for you next week. And then the other thing is they'll say, but can you just charge me for the yarn? And I'll say, okay, that'll be about $250 then. And they're like, yarn ain't cheap, guys. Yarn is super expensive, and you know, when we do something with it and we're going to give it to someone, we make sure they're going to appreciate it. And that's the other thing around Christmas time. Sometimes we feel like you know, we make Christmas items and things, and we've got them around the house, and people love them. I mean, like this blanket. Every time I put this blanket out, I get tons of compliments. I think it's called the Holly Berry or Holly Jolly or no, Holly. I can't remember, but I do have a pattern for it. And if you go to my YouTube main page and go to the playlist and look under Christmas or look under blankets, you'll find it in both those playlists. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called the Very Merry Christmas Blanket. I think that's what it's called. It's stitched in a round, sort of more like a maybe a octagon. Anyway, back to what I'm talking about. It takes a lot of yarn to make these. You can't just buy one skein of yarn and make a dress, okay? You can't just buy one ball of yarn and usually even make a hat. It usually takes one or two depending on the stitches that you use. And so it's hard for people, again, that don't crochet and don't knit to understand how much yarn costs and how much it takes to make a project. And yes, we have a lot of leftover yarns. I have a lot of yarns behind me. I have a lot of yarns over there. As a matter of fact, I've got 2 bags sitting over here. One of them, you know, is from when I went to Hobby Lobby. Another box is over here from Premier. And so I have a lot of yarn sitting around. So it looks like I can just, you know, I have another one over there from Red Heart. And it looks like I can just, you know, make anything from anything. But the truth of the matter is, I buy a lot of my yarn and that I do my demos with. Yes, I get some sent to me from Premier, but also I buy from Premier. And so yarn is not cheap. I mean, think about this. This blanket that I have behind me, I believe it took, I want to say 4.5, 5 balls of the variegated plus one of the white. Okay? And so if it takes 5, and let's just round it up to say $5. Okay, so 5 times 5 is $25 plus the white. So we'll just add another $5, $30 just for yarn. And that's going a little bit cheap because I think these were $7.99 a skein, now that I think about it. But anyway, yarn is not cheap, and we know that. And it's okay. One of the things I have learned is we can educate people about what we do, what yarn costs, the time that it takes, and things like that. Because I feel like if a person can work at a fast food restaurant and make $12 an hour, which both of my two grandkids do, but one works at a Whataburger, one works at a place called Chicken Express, similar kind of restaurants. Well, one is more chickeny, one is more hamburgers. But anyway, they both make over $12 an hour, and they work hard. But I figure if they get $12 an hour, if I'm going to make something, and a blanket like this is going to say take 12, 15 hours, shouldn't I get $12 an hour too? So those are things to think of. And a lot of times I will bring those things up because I want them to understand that my time is important too. And when you make something for someone, it's not just about the yarn, or the materials it takes to make it, but it's also about your time. Because you're telling them that for 10, 12 hours, I was thinking or praying for you while I was making this specifically for you. And I realize not everything is made for others. Sometimes made for me, sometimes it's made for decorations, and for others, that I'm just going to give as a gift or something, my grandkids or something, my sisters. But I think it's okay to educate people on, the price of yarn. Our time is important, and it's okay to say, yeah, I'm crocheting. Knitting is with 2 needles. I'm using a hook. You can say these things in a nice way without being rude. And I think that this time of year, it's important because everybody's stressed out. We got to get the perfect gift. We got to get the perfect food. We have to have certain people over or go to someone's house. We have to do these things. There's parties from work. There's parties from church. There's parties from schools. There's parties from just friends. I mean, lots of get-togethers. People from out of town come back in town to visit family. They're your friends. You want to get with them. And there's always something going on. Tree lighting, decorating. And so we can really get ourselves stressed out if we let it. And so I think... And of course, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist or anything like that. This is my opinion of what works for me. When I'm stressed out over all of these things and I have to go somewhere, I just take my crochet with me. I'll take a project that I can explain and one that I can chat at the same time while I'm working. Because I need my hands to be busy. Because the truth of the matter is, if I don't take my crochet and there's snacks, I'm going to be eating cupcakes and chocolate and things that I am not supposed to have because I'm diabetic. But because I'm stressed out, I might eat that just to keep myself busy. Okay? And so it's kind of a healing mechanism, I guess you would say. And it's okay. And if people don't understand that, like I said, in the most nicest way, we can educate them. It's okay. It's okay to tell them what's on your heart. Be truthful and honest and sincere, as my grandma used to say. Truthful, honest, and sincere. Because you want to be truthful about it. You want to be honest, and there's a difference there. Being honest with yourself and with them as to why you're doing what you're doing. And sincere, because it really is a serious and rough time of year. And so you want to be kind also. All right? Honest, truthful, and sincere. Truthful, honest, and sincere. All of those things. All right. So Thanksgiving's coming. The holidays are coming. Christmas is coming. And so I just want to wish you all lots of fun family holiday time. And take it with you. Well, thanks for watching today. And I know it was a little bit different from what we usually do for our coffee or our not coffee and crochet with our this or that videos. Okay. And so if you still have questions, I am happy to see if I can find you an answer if I don't know the answer. And always comment. I love to read your comments. That means a lot to me. When you comment down in that comment section, it does. It means a lot to me, and I love reading them. I don't always get to type in a whole long answer. I'll usually give you a heart, so you know that that I loved it and that I read it. But because I do, your comments and your thoughts and even around these subjects is very important to me. Because remember, I believe this, I believe this, I believe this, that crochet and the arts, fiber arts is one of them. What we do, crochet is art, that it is healing for the mind, the body, and the soul. I do. I believe that. All right. So I'll see you next week. Have a great week.